What's going on, everybody? Check out this clip from the Pre-Patch podcast. Well, let's talk about, because again, Delta Force, uh, it's going to be called a knockoff. There's some questionable things when you're looking at like Call of Duty and Battlefield. There's definitely some stuff that's like, shit, this shit looks real close. Like, is there possible that there could be like, lawsuits and stuff like that? And, another company that is very familiar with lawsuits is good old Nintendo.
Mm.
So
Oh, yeah.
we said this a while back that it could happen.
This is a PP predicts, honestly. Like we did shout out and be like, there's no way the fucking Nintendo does not let them go.
And
Like,
This was, to be
continue
fair,
on
this
with
was, and of course, I'd love giving us credit for PP predicts, but this was everybody predicted this. Like everybody was like, "Where's the
100%.
lawsuit? What's happening?" And Nintendo, like, "What are you doing?" Well, here it is after how many
I expected
months?
this.
A
I
year
expected
almost.
this to happen just due to the fact of all. I played over maybe 75 to 100 hours of Palworld.
Oh yeah, we put a lot of
Yeah,
time.
we all put a lot of time into it. Yeah.
I put a lot of time into it, and the deeper I got into it, the deeper I was just like, oh, that's Electabuzz with a Gatling gun.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's Pikachu with a. Okay, cool,
Oh, yeah,
cool. So we all
this is-
knew.
This is
We
where
all
my my blatant phrase came from.
Blatant.
Yeah. Blatantly were
It's a
ripped out of
blatant
Pokemon. Yeah, they weren't shy about it.
Yeah, they really wasn't.
Yeah.
So I expected this.
So
Yeah.
my biggest question, and I think I've been reading some stuff, and I've been seeing some other content creators like Pirate Software that have kind of analyzed it a little bit. My question was like, I wonder what the patent infringement is, because this is patent infringement is different from IP, like intellectual property and copyright, right?
Right.
I originally thought that it was going to be like them being like, hey, this fucking dude looks like Charizard with a chain gun, right? Or this dude looks like Pikachu with a fucking with a bad chip on his shoulder, right? Whatever it is, right? I imagine that was what it was going to be. I've been seeing a lot of people saying though that they're thinking that it's the patent for the Pokeball.
That's what I heard
Like
too.
the way that the Pokeball is thrown.
Yeah, it's not the looks. And this is what even chat's saying. Like if you actually read the statement that I think we have here, that talks about it, right? This is from Nintendo directly. Sorry, I can only go. I mean, you guys are seeing everything, but it won't let me go scroll any farther. But they're basically saying like, hey, like you're damaging the kind of way that Pokemon plays, and it's
which is
infringing.
Wild.
Infringing on the fact that like
wild.
you're throwing an item at something and capturing it in a sphere, right? Or a spherical design. What will come of this? Okay, so from the little bit of legal knowledge that I know from like my job and stuff like that, right? Like copyright infringement is a very it's a very hard thing to actually prove. And to get to like say like, yes, like you directly had caught like an infringement here. Nintendo has got to, and I'm sure they do, like Nintendo's not gonna, well, I don't know, there's two sides of Nintendo. Nintendo will go after anybody. Like Nintendo will literally go after cosplayers. They'll go after they even may go after us for even fucking talking about this. Who knows, right? They will go after people just to shut them down, and it's a known thing, but yet Nintendo fans love them for it. Or still love them as a company. And then there's the other side that like, would Nintendo really go spend the time to go after Palworld if they didn't think that they legitimately had a case? So maybe they do actually own a copyright on the fact of like, hey, I can go out and throw a ball.
They do. That's not a maybe. They do own a copyright for like the idea of throwing a ball at something and capturing it.
All right, then if I'm Palworld, make it a fucking cube. I'm throwing a cube.
Make it a cube. I'm throwing a cube at them, like not a sphere.
The other issue that like we're running into a lot with this as well is that like Pokemon and the guys over at Palworld are both over in, I believe, Japan or China. I can't remember which one it is. And copyright law in those like specific countries is extremely funky, right? Like it's a lot more different from American copyright law, right? Like you can copyright law a lot of shit in those other countries, in those Eastern countries, from what I can understand. I'm not an expert on it, obviously, But yeah,
Pocket
from everything that I've heard and from everything that we've run into in the past, it's a lot worse over there.
so Pocket Pair is the name of the studio.
Correct.
And they are let me give me 1 second. I'll tell you exactly where they're at.
Japan,
It's
I
Japan.
think. Yeah.
It would
I
have
think
to
they came
more
out
likely be
and
in Japan.
I think they even said in their statement. They
So I'm
are.
gonna read
Yes.
this part of the statement here. It says Palworld launched in early access form in January 2024, PC via Steam, and on Xbox as day one Game Pass title, and catapulted to tremendous overnight success, but also controversy. Pokemon fans were quick to call out the similarities in Power, although the indie developer insisted that Power is more akin to survival crafting games such as Ark Survival Evolved and Valheim than Pokemon. Pocket Pair's community manager even said the team has received death threats over the backlash.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
I remember that.
that
Yeah.
that is wild.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
So
mean,
our chat is saying it doesn't matter. It's the act of doing it in an open world. It's specifically an object, not a ball, that is thrown in an open
so
world
again,
to capture things.
I know that obviously again, copyright laws depending on where you live, right? And what country you have the copyright
Yeah.
in.
Well, it's
so,
dependent on the copyright infringement, like where they do the
well,
where they
that's
do
what I'm
the
saying. Like,
lawsuit at as
well, you can have a
Yeah.
you can have a copyright that is not worldwide. You can have a copyright patent just for the U.S. and it fuck all over in China and vice
So I
versa.
wonder if that's how like games like Temtem and other games have done it then, because like they also have utilized that kind of feature, right?
I think it's less that they've utilized it and more the fact that like Palworld seriously like ruffled feathers with how popular it became, right? Temtem was not making millions of fucking millions, right?
No, that probably has a factor in it too. And also just the look of Palworld, like I think they also were like, this is Pokemon with guns. How are people gonna look at Pokemon now? You know, like it's a kid's game and now you have guns in here. And,
I can tell you that you just kicked over the right stone, Enigma, when you said it's because of the success of Power. The reason the reason that this did not happen before, because let's be honest, it's not like Nintendo didn't know Palworld was existing, right? And that it was out there, right? It's not like it took forever for Nintendo to get this lawsuit together. It's not like they had to go and talk and be like, hey, do we actually have the copyright for this? Blah, 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 right? This is something Nintendo knew. And basically what happened was it at the very beginning, everyone was like, yo, so Nintendo, you're not going to say shit? And Nintendo was like, yeah, we're fine. Like literally came out and said, yeah, we're fine. Like we're okay. Right. Because Palworld wasn't making like they made some money, but they weren't making that much. Like it was okay. Like they weren't, whatever. Now they're just like, oh, fuck. Like they're not going away. And this is also has like, again, they're getting around the time when the Switch 2 is going to want to launch, right? You're not going to tell me that there's not another Pokemon coming around the corner, right? That somebody somewhere went, hey guys, we got a problem and it's this fucking Palworld. We need to take care of it right now. So Nintendo does what Nintendo does, and they want to throw their weight around. And so now they're taking these people to court.
You think that this also has anything to do with? You remember we reported on the fact that Sony and Palworld had come together to make merch and like an anime. You think this has anything to do with that too?
I have no doubt, right? Like they're seeing now that there's more money in play, right? And this is a bigger problem, right? Like oh shit, people could want to go see the Palworld movie over the next fucking Detective Pikachu movie, like. You know,
I 100% agree with you, because if this wasn't successful, they wouldn't have said anything.
They keep 2 fucks, man.
They would not have raised these lawsuits against them. They would have probably just been like, oh well, it's just gonna die. Pikachu is Pikachu forever, Pokemon forever. We ain't got to worry about some knockoff. But because it ruffled feathers and because it did so well, like you had a lot of people talking about this game, a lot of people playing this game, and they had so much success that they had to upgrade the servers. They even said that they're coming out with new content and stuff like that. They had a lot of success, and because of that, I can see Nintendo being like, "Oh, well, we need to shut this down before it gets out of control."
And
so
some of the comments that are going on with, because I do want to address Temtem, because I played Temtem. I still play Temtem every once in a while. Like I'll boot it up and play that. If you want to talk about a like knock for knock, like if I don't want to play Pokemon, but I want to play a knockoff Pokemon, I'm gonna go play Temtem, because though, this is open world and whatever, this game is a farther reaching kind of thing when they're like, hey, you build a house, you have your people working for you, like all of that, where like Temtem is legit. I'm going around, and though it's open world in the sense that everything is connected and you're running through it. But I'm telling you right now, if I pulled up a fucking like world of Temtem and a world of Pokemon, outside of Arceus and like the latest releases, I would bet you most people would not be able to tell the difference. Most people would be like, I don't know which one's which, because they're that close. So for them not to go after Temtem, right, but then to vehemently going after Pocket Pair, it's like, yeah, you guys are in it for the money, because Temtem has not raised that much money. Like, I mean, they've done okay, but they've not done Palworld.
They're
levels.
nowhere near what Palworld did.
Right.
Yeah, Steam.
So
let's just look at Temtem right now on Steam.
I already have Palworld stream charts up. They're still holding like 14,000 people.
Oh
yeah,
and
Temtem's at 287 in game right now with 457 24 peak.
You're also not including the PlayStation. You're not including the console, or like at least Xbox for sure, right?
Yeah.
So and here's what is going to be interesting. I would wonder too if Big Daddy Microsoft and Sony don't come to the defense here of Nintendo and say, yeah, you might be able to push around and bully them, but you ain't gonna be able to bully. You ain't gonna be able to bully us. Like,
Sony's definitely going to, because now they've got skin in the fucking game, right? They've got that for the merchandising and shit. So,
and I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, did you see what Palworld, the entertainment as a whole, posted about the lawsuit?
No.
Their reply, I did put it in there.
Their reply, I can read it off for you guys if
go ahead.
man. Okay, so it says, regarding the lawsuit, yesterday a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. Pocket Pair is a small indie game company based in Tokyo. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joy to millions of gamers around the world. Palworld was a surprise success this year, both for gamers and for us. We were blown away by the amazing response to the game and have been working hard to make it even better for our fans. We will continue improving Palworld and strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. It is truly unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost for our fans and to ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. We apologize to our fans and supporters for any worry or discomfort that this news has caused. As always, thank you for your continued support of Palworld and Pocket Pair. And I like how they hit it home saying we're a small indie game company based in Tokyo. You went after a small indie game based company. They go at, like Sin said, they go after everyone.
We talked about how they went after modders on Gmod. Nintendo don't care.
It's ridiculous. Bro.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous to do that, and you only did it, like we all said, is because they had success. Because if it wasn't successful, you would not have raised your hand like this. You wouldn't even have bothered.
Yeah, definitely.
So
now I like that they hit on. They're going to have to allocate time and everything into this law case, which it really is the unfortunate side of this all, because they just want to keep creating their game, keep updating their game, but this just takes them away from that. So I think that letter was just really well addressed to the community.
I want to show because again, for some people that are wondering, like if you are watching the VOD back or whatever else, like we keep mentioning Temtem. I want to show Temtem because some of you, and even some of the people in on here, like a Tony or
I don't know nothing about Temtem.
So this right here, and by the way, I'm getting this footage from Gym Leader Ed, their YouTube channel. So thank you for letting me use your footage. Well, at least I'm using your footage. So, okay. So just off the rip, this is Temtem, right? And this is their battle system, right? And so when you're talking, when I look at I'm sorry, but when I see this screams Pokemon to me 1,000 times more than what Palworld is with, the characters, obviously, but you're not going to sit here and tell me that this does not look like fucking Pokemon.
Right.
I think for the most part they're talking about Arceus or whatever that open
Yeah.
world
Well, yeah,
game that
that's
they
their-
had. They're not
but
talking about
people-
like the Pokemon in general, just the Arceus game.
But
is
here's the
But
very
again, but to
similar it.
compare, like to go after Palworld with the comparisons, but not go after this with like comparisons to every other Pokemon game, it really does come down to like the popularity
again, it's
for sure.
Yeah, it's money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's money.
It
Yeah.
is the and I think that dude just have that guy better be careful, man. He just flashed Pokemon Yellow.
Oh, great!
across the
Now
screen.
now we're gonna get fucking copyright strike for fucking having Game Boy Yellow.
Oh man.
But anyway, that's Tim. But yeah, I mean, I get that Arceus is like the newest version, right? But it is not the version that is what I would say probably 95% of the people out there when they say Pokemon they think of. They're not going to think of like the fucking Arceus open world running around or whatever else. They think about like that version on the Game Boy, right? And doing all of that. So
And
I don't know.
I always love to bring this comparison up when we talk about like Pokemon copyrights and everything, but Pokemon originally is such a hypocritical company because they blatantly copied off of Dragon Quest originally.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean not all, but a majority of like their original Pokemons were blatantly ripped from Dragon Quest. So it's like it's the same shit, man. And then they're going to go after all these other companies. It's so hypocritical.
Yep.
Nintendo,
So-
man.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again,
Nintendo
like we
Pokemon.
said, this is not the first. This won't be the last. I don't, we don't report too much on like lawsuits when it comes into from one dev to another dev and stuff like that. Like we obviously talked about like the Dark and Darker and the stuff that was going on with wasn't Tencent. Who the
Google,
not NetEase.
Google
Oh,
and Epic.
no.
Google and Epic
Well,
and
yeah, we
shit?
did Google and Epic, but I'm talking about like the what was Dark and Darker and their fucking was it NetEase?
Oh, yeah, I think so. NetEase, I believe, at least.
Yeah.
But I do hope for I honest to God I want Palworld to win, mainly because I think that Nintendo deserves to get kicked in the face for this
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
shit.
They need competition. That's the biggest thing. Is like we've talked about it in the past. Like competition breeds, innovation, and that's one thing that we've always complained about with Pokemon is like they don't innovate. Pokemon hasn't innovated for years, right?
Yeah.
Like at least when it comes down to their actual games, right? They've tried to in the past, in the recent past, going more towards the open world like 3D versions of the games, right? But like they're not innovating all that much, dude. Like that, I can't remember what the one was where they were in feudal Japan. That thing was ass. I'm sorry if that was Arceus.
I thought that was
terrible.
Arceus. I'm pretty sure that was
Arceus.
That
yeah.
fucking those graphics were like
probably why they're so-
1989,
Yeah.
1990.
I think we had a
graphics.
heated debate about those graphics.
I think we did, yeah.
We did,
So-
yeah.
Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the patch notes. And if you want to join us live, we stream every single Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern here on YouTube as well as on Twitch. Also, if you miss the show, you can always catch us at anchor.fm/prepatch podcast or wherever you listen to your podcast. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the show.